Recently, Mark Marrow, or better known as Trindamere, tweeted, "Should we have an MMO, yay or nay?" And this got the community going. Unfortunately, this probably won't be a thing, and if it does, it won't be for a while. But this got me thinking, what would a League MMO be like? So if you're not in the MMO community, you may not know this, but the MMO genre has a little bit of a problem with getting good games. Of course, there are a lot of great games like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, RuneScape, etc. Problem is, MMO players have been looking for a game with, as Blizzard user Kessian puts it, we are looking for a game with World of Warcraft's endless progression, a gigantic sandbox world, Minecraft-like crafting and base building, and an Elder Scrolls-like single-player experience. However, Blizzard forum user Rastical puts it, at one point, FPS were a dying genre, then Call of Duty happened. At one point, platformers were a dying genre, then Assassin's Creed happened. MMOs will see their time eventually. And I arguably believe this to be true. One day MMOs will see the day all MMO fans will get what they want, and I feel like a League could be that MMO. Now this isn't a video about the MMO genre, it's about what League would be like as an MMO. So here's my thoughts about what it should be like, and please comment about whether you agree, disagree, or are neutral about my thoughts. Oh yeah, and before I say anything, this game has to be open world. There's no question about it. Now the first question would be the hardest one to tackle and would probably be the most controversial topic. The question of what role the current champions will take. Would they be playable characters, and will we have 30 Luxes running into a raid against a giant Cho'Gath? Will they be party members we're able to recruit as partners, say like in Skyrim? Would they simply be key NPCs? Depending on who you ask, you'll probably get different answers. Now, if this were an RPG, the question would be easily answered. You would play as one of a select group of champions, and your story would progress depending on who you picked from the group. But of course, this isn't just any RPG, this would be an MMORPG. It makes answering this question that much harder. I think one thing that makes MMORPGs so different is the individuality one could have. Games I've played like Warframe and Mabinogi had so much customizability that you would never run into somebody that looked exactly like you, even if you had the same weapons, armor, and abilities. You were able to truly express who you are, which is why selecting a champion to play in a League MMO would, in my opinion, not be the best option. You could recruit them as a party member, but to me, it felt like a game where they made a bad game but slapped the name of a movie on it. There are games like Vindictus where an NPC would join the journey, and honestly the lore in League is so amazing that this would be an amazing thing to do. It might feel like that series Liberties Kids, if anyone here remembers that show, where you'd get to experience the lore, but you'd be there as a developing factor of the storyline. I feel like this would be the best route to incorporating the League characters into the MMORPG. Have them with a nice balance of being able to play with them, but not actually being them. Now that the champion question is out of the way, what would we play? Would we play basically a champion but have a knockoff version of them? By that I mean, would we pick per se a light warrior that would have the same skills as Lux, except we're not Lux? Or would we play something like a soldier under Noxus with Darius as our supreme overlord captain? This is where I think Riot could get creative. I believe the characters we play should be the latter. This might get confusing, so stay with me. Let's say we pick a Demacian male character. It could very easily get into a class, like having a Trickster class with Twisted Fate skills, a tank class with Jin Zhao skills, etc. But this is what I think would set this MMORPG apart from others. It would be very similar to picking a race like in World of Warcraft, but instead of race it would be country of origin. Like I said, we picked a Demacian male character. This would unlock skills the character could pick and choose from, but some would be limited to Demacians only, while others could be worldwide skills. Example, everyone in Demacia would have access to Jin Zhao skills, Garen skills, etc. But everyone would be able to use a skill such as perhaps clothes making, and maybe even a champion skill like Soraka's Astro Infusion. But perhaps not make it too strong so that they need somebody with strong healing. Notice on how I didn't say somebody in the party that's a healer, I said somebody with strong healing. And at first glance, somebody might say that's too overpowered. However, Mabinogi has almost all skills unlockable to all players, except for a select few race-only skills. It takes hundreds if not thousands of hours to master them all. Not only that, but it would take maybe 100 hours just to get stable footing into 1 or 2 sets of skills or classes. That's what I'm talking about here. This would be something that one could sink hours into playing, mastering one skill that would be a powerful asset to your fighting repertoire. But what exactly would the fighting system be like? If there's one thing I learned going through MMOs, it's that I do not want this combat system to be like World of Warcraft. Now don't get me wrong, I think it's a wonderful mechanic that became a sturdy golden standard for many MMOs. However, it can get old pretty fast as someone who's been playing MMOs for at least maybe half my life. I'm looking for something new. What would be nice would be a mix of Mabinogi, For Honor, and Dauntless/Monster Hunter. Most of you probably have never heard of Mabinogi, but here, I'll at least explain the basic battle mechanics. It's basically a rock, paper, scissors mechanic. Sounds plain and easy, right? Well, maybe at first. Smash beats defense, defense beats windmill, windmill beats counterattack, and counterattack beats smash. But of course, there are hundreds of other abilities that could affect the fight. Sure, you could put up defense to stop the windmill, but then your opponent would charge up a lightning bolt in 0.5 seconds and hit you before unleashing his final attack on you. And before you know it, you're dead on the ground. That is, of course, unless you have a passive lightning resistance that would reduce the stun, allowing you to counter his final attack and kill him before he knows what's happening. For Honor has an interesting combat system where you don't have to just figure out how to attack your opponent, but you have to figure out how to defend against his or her attacks. Monster Hunter/Dauntless's way of having the player figure out how to defeat a monster efficiently would be fun in my opinion. You can't simply just spam attack and hope for the monster to die. You have to figure out its weak spots, expose it, and kill it more efficiently. So what am I saying here? Riot should just flat out copy these mechanics and incorporate it into this new MMO? Not exactly. I feel like if someone were to just take and learn from each of these games and combine it into one combat system, you've got yourself a really cool and unique combat system. Now for the part that can make or break the game, and that's where the money comes into play. So I have absolutely no experience in marketing or accounting or anything of the sort. The only thing I studied in college was music and biology. Like I said in the beginning, please tell me your thoughts and why or why not my ideas are terrible. There are two ways this MMO could go. It could be either free to play or sub based. Let's take a look at both sides. Correct me if I'm wrong, but more people are most likely to play free games. Darwin Project before charged players for $15, but since then they decided to make the game free to play, allowing a huge increase of the number of players. Now I know this is not a subscription based game, but for a game with a one-time payment of $15, most people were not willing to get the game. I'll be honest, I didn't want to get the game unless it went on sale because at that time I was unemployed and at school. But now that I have the game for free, I feel more satisfied with the game and inclined to buy in-game items probably worth more than that initial $15. Of course, there's that rule of thumb where if you're willing to spend X amount of hours a month on a game that costs X dollars a month, then it's completely worth it. But that becomes a problem for those that are busy with life and that still enjoy the game, but can't sink hours and hours into the game all the time. I'm not entirely sure what this rule is called, so I'll call it the 90-9-1 rule. Let's say a free game has 100 players, then 90 of the players will not spend a penny on the game most of the time. 9 of the players will spend an alright amount of money on the game, while one player will spend hundreds if not thousands of dollars into the game each year. Now I got this fact reading about mobile games, but the same could be true for any free-to-play game. Thinking about the game this whole thing has been centered around, League of Legends. There are many of those that have never spent a penny on this game. Before the loot system came around, they never had any skins. Then there are those that spend an alright amount of money like me. I would only spend money if there's a sale on the skin of a champion that I adore, so I've spent maybe not even $200 or $300 on the game in the past 6 years I've played this game. Then there are those that have probably spent thousands on this game because they want every skin for their favorite champions. This can't be said for every free-to-game play. There are games that I've played like Skyforge where it's extremely pay to win. You will not be as strong and not progress as fast as people pouring a lot of money into the game. This isn't your ordinary experience booster. I mean, you will literally not be as strong as anyone that pours money into the game ever. I feel for this game it should not be pay to win or subscription based. It should be pay to better oneself. That probably doesn't make sense. But basically, you should only spend money for cosmetics, lottery based items, and extra progression. Not spending money on progression things shouldn't feel like you're the only kid in the class that couldn't afford to buy paint supplies for elementary class. It should feel like you're really enjoying the game, and if I really wanted to grind one week or weekend, then I could really choose to pay to progress faster. As for cosmetics and lottery based items, it would really help the in-game economy as well as help Riot make money. Someone is willing to spend lots of money to get something worth lots of in-game money, then to sell it to someone willing to spend lots of time on the game and to get in-game money to pay that person. In turn, lets that person spending real-life money on the game feel like it's worth it and buy more things, coming around in a full circle. Therefore, I think the game should be free to play. The average age of the average League player is high compared to other games as far as I know. My friends and I only are able to play League on the weekends, maybe on the weekdays if we're lucky, so the fan base may not be as invested to be playing a pay-to-play MMO. In closing, there are many things that I probably could have missed and did not address, but I only wanted to touch on many things League fans and MMO fans might question about what a League MMO would be like. Of course, this is if we have fantasy MMO that everyone wants, but unfortunately, I feel like an MMO of this size would be next to impossible. No company may want to invest that much time and money into a game, which is unfortunately why the genre has been suffering. Of course though, it's nice to dream of what could be. For now, we'll have to keep dreaming, and Trindamir, if you're watching this, why do you have to play with our feelings like that?